All right, y'all, we are back. Today I have my brother with me today. His background is, when I tell y'all, it's just like mine. State and local, just like me for 8 years, right, Bull?
7 years.
7 years, and been with the federal government for 5 years. So just a shy year or so behind me. Expert shooter just as well, handgun, rifle, shotgun. So hey, we bad, dynamic duo, okay? So we're here today. We're gonna educate you all, or really more or less, share with you all about how we have experienced a lot of what you all have as well, even being in law enforcement. I know you all have seen my video where I went viral of my traffic stop, but that was just one of many experiences that I personally experienced, even being in law enforcement. So today, my brother here, Officer Jackson, he is going to give us, some scenario situations where he had experiences with the police, and I'm going to give you all a few other scenarios and situations that I had as well.
So this happened just 3 years ago in New Jersey. My first port of entry was New Jersey, Newark, New Jersey, and actually I was close to getting ready to transfer down to Atlanta, and I was on my off day, my RDO, and just left the movie theater, got on the phone with my wife because she was still in Alabama, and driving to go get something to eat. Was at a light turned green, turned right, and saw the officers. They were in the opposite lane behind me, and I looked and I told Ashley, I say, Ashley, I'm about to get pulled over. I already knew I'm about to get pulled over. I'm gonna call you back. As soon as I hung the phone up, they hit the lights, got behind me, pulled me over. Two white officers came up, approached the vehicle. The officer that came to the driver's side was already went from 1 to 8, 1 to 9. I mean, from the top. Give me a driver's license. I said, well, sir, why you pulling me over? And he never would tell me why he pulled me over. So the other officer tapped on my window. I let the window down. He started talking to me, so I turned my attention to him. Well, this officer on this side started talking to me, and he gonna tell me, well, you talk to him. And I'm just like, well, man, who am I supposed to talk to? So I turned back to this officer over here. So he's asking for my registration, and I'm going in and reach forward, and the officer on the other side looked in, and he saw something in my vehicle that was law enforcement related.
Okay.
So he asked me, are you on the job? And being from the South, we don't know some of the lingo that's up in the northeast. So I didn't understand what he was talking about. And he asked me 2 or 3 times. I said, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. He said, are you LEO? I said, yes, sir, I'm LEO. So once he found out I was LEO, he kind of came down a notch. The officer on the driver's side was still up on level 8 and then level 9.
Okay.
So you say you law enforcement, huh? Where's your badge? So I said, sir, it's in my left pocket. I'm gonna reach in, can I get it? He said, go ahead. I pulled it out, handed it to him. He opened it to the badge. I see the badge, where are your credentials? I said, well, sir, if you turn the page in the book, I said, you see my credentials right there. He took it, threw it on my dashboard. He said, you pull them out. And you already know at this point, the vein in my head throbbing.
That's right.
It's throbbing right now because I already know this is over the top. So I grabbed my stuff, I pulled my creds out, handed it to him, and he eventually got around to telling me why he pulled me over. He said he pulled me over because he did not know what Auburn was. And all of you know from the South, everybody and their mama know, Auburn is Auburn, Alabama. And it's not only an Auburn in Alabama, it's an Auburn in New York. So the fact that he said he don't know what Auburn is kind of blew my mind. And I was like, so you pulled me over because when you ran my tag, you had the computer that was telling you all the information, my vehicle information, telling you that my tag is registered in Alabama and all of that stuff, but you're saying you don't know what Auburn was. And that's, well, we're Jersey boys. We don't know nothing about that. So that justifies you pulling me over.
And being rude.
And discourteous and stuff like that. But man, that's just one of many, but that's when, as a law enforcement officer, you know what I'm saying?
Okay. So let's break that down. So you said that both officers approached your vehicle when you said they were on 8, were you saying aggressive, nasty, just not polite?
Aggressive, nasty.
So they wasn't professional.
Right.
Okay.
Didn't even get their names. They didn't introduce themselves.
So I was trained like this when I went through the Sheriff's Academy you always approach the vehicle, you state your name and who you work for and the reason why you stop that person. Is that the training you received?
The same training I received.
Now, my brother went through, my academy was about 13 weeks long, okay? This was Sheriff's Academy. He went through a police academy that was put on by Birmingham City, but it was 22 weeks, right, boy? Mm-hmm. So it was almost double the amount of time that I went through the academy. And he received that same training. So I'm willing to bet that those officers receive that same training as well on how to approach a vehicle, the do's and the don'ts. So they approach the vehicle very aggressive. Mm-hmm. And even being told or even knowing that you are a law enforcement officer, from your story, they didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care. Like I said, the officer on the passenger side, once he saw I was LEO, he tuned it down. He was just like, oh man, where you live and how far you work. And all that stuff.
So he tried to make it right.
He tried to clean it up.
Which it should have never been muddy anyway, but he tried to clean it up. But then you had the officer on the driver's side that threw your credentials to you. So that was disrespectful, mm-hmm. right? As a law enforcement officer. Now we're talking as a law enforcement officer. Now we take it to if you were just a civilian with no law enforcement experience. What would he have done if you were just a civilian?
Right.
Dropped it on the ground and said pick it up?
Right.
He threw it at you knowing that you have a badge and credentials in your custody, right. in your possession.
Right.
So I don't know if you all see the correlation between that particular incident in New Jersey and my incident in Alabama. Same thing. You can't. We have people out there that still want to say that we're making these things up. Right. It doesn't exist. This is just another black person that's turning everything into a racial issue. Right. Now, we're talking about something that personally happened to you mm-hmm. in your civilian clothes, but you were a law enforcement officer, mm-hmm. okay, in New Jersey. That's every bit of 10 hours from here?
Mm-hmm. 10 to 12.
10 to 12 hours from here. And the same situation happened to me in my uniform. Okay? We're not going to make these issues up. They happen, and we want you all to understand that it is not right. It is not right that you all have been treated that way, because like I told you all in the video that I am black before I am a law enforcement officer. So therefore, it affects me and it hurts me. Okay? So I'll go back into an experience that I had prior to July the 31st of this year. I'll never forget that date. I was traveling, and this was about 6 months maybe prior to this incident. Same area, okay? Maybe 2 miles from where I was stopped on the 31st. Just traveling the back roads. Because in Birmingham's got the Olympics coming in about another 2 years. Mm-hmm. So Birmingham's doing a lot of renovations. So they was working on the interstate system. So I was traveling the back roads to work, and I come through Kimberly, and the white female police officer runs the stop sign. I've got the right of way, okay? I'm traveling 2-lane road. She's coming a side road, but runs the stop sign. She slams on brakes. I slam on brakes to avoid from hitting her. She sits there, and then I continue on my way. Now, I look up. I see her approaching me very fast. I said, man, she must have got a call. Mm-hmm. Boom, the lights come on. I said, well, she pulling me over. Right. So I pull over. School, I can see the school. I can see the school speed sign right there. Okay, stop right there. She walks up to my window. I let the window down. She squares to the car and she sees my uniform and she kind of jumped back, kind of shocked. Mm-hmm. She said, you were moving pretty good, weren't you? I said, no, ma'am. I said, you ran a stop sign. I almost hit you. Mm-hmm. And, well, you got your license and insurance? I said, I do. I handed her my license. gave the insurance. She walked to the back of the vehicle, and where she had backup. And they stood there. They never went in the car. I don't know. It appeared as if she did run my license. And whatever the officer said to her, she didn't agree with it, but because she slung her hand down like that. That's kind of a movement. If you're saying somebody, I'm a man, whatever.
Right.
Okay, one of those gestures. She walked back up to my vehicle, and she said, well, now listen, the reason I was stopped changed again, okay? Well, the reason I stopped you was because the flashing lights were on. I said, ma'am, the kids are in school, the light's not on. Mm-hmm. Now, the flashing light reads 15 miles per hour when the light is flashing. The light wasn't flashing. The kids were in school. Another thing, you can't give, even if I was speeding and that was the reason you stopped me, I hadn't entered that zone of where the school zone was, right, where it was a 15 miles per hour speed zone. Okay? So I told her, I said, ma'am, the lights weren't flashing, the lights not even on. And then she said, well, do you want your license back? I said, I sure do. And I let her know, okay, you all. I said, ma'am, in other words, and I let her know in a professional way that I've been doing this a long time. Mm-hmm. And I pretty much let her know that I know you stopped me because I was black in that area. Okay? I let her know that because she didn't have a reason to stop me.
Right.
She had you obviously she wasn't paying attention because she ran the stop sign and almost hit me. Right. But so that's another situation, you all, and that particular situation changed my whole mind about moving in that area. That area would have took off 30 minutes from my drive to work and from work. Very beautiful homes, nice homes. But after I was stopped that day, and I was followed on 2 other occasions for about 3 miles, 2 to 3 miles. The officer get behind me and just follow me, then turn off. And then he'll turn around and go back the other way. That happened to me on a few occasions. So I knew that just wasn't an area for me to move into. And now, like I said, that's the same area in which I was stopped. So we want you all to know, we can go on and on. I can go on and on about situations, you know. You want to give another one, Bull?
Yeah, I have one. When I was in the academy.
Okay.
And this was from recruits who were getting ready to hit the streets in a certain agency. I won't name the agency.
Okay.
But this was 2015 Christmas time. Getting ready to go to the range. And I went to get on the bus because the instructor said, hey, we'll get there early. We'll get you guys out of here quick as we can. We shoot, get you home. So I got there, got outside, and I saw a group from another agency.
Okay.
And I said, Holy Spirit was like, man, don't get on that bus. So I went to get on another bus.
I remember this.
Remember that?
Oh, man. Y'all listen to this. Listen to this, okay?
The Holy Spirit told me, don't get on the bus with them. Go to another bus. So I went to the bus behind it, knocked on the window. Lady would not open the door. She said, you got to get on that bus. I said, well, I got to get on the bus. So I get on the bus, and I sit at the very front of the bus. It's a white recruit for the agency behind me, another classmate of his behind him. And all of a sudden, this guy starts talking about Rosa Parks sitting at the front of the bus. Now, it's Christmas time. We should be talking about gifts. We're going to get our wives, our kids for Christmas,
right,
get it home. No, we're talking about Rosa Parks and the civil rights and during Christmas time. So he's like, yeah, man, that was a noble thing Rosa Parks did sitting at the front of the bus. He making sure I can hear him good. And the other guy was like, yeah, man, yeah, it sure was. Then the other guy chimed back in, yeah, man, that wasn't her idea to do that sit-in on that bus. And so we're talking about, they're talking about this conversation all the way till we get to the gun range. I step off the bus and the bus drives off and I look like I cannot believe that just happened. Now think about this for a second. These same sad guys who are in this academy going through training like I'm going through for a law enforcement job, which it may be a different scope.
Now listen, you all, this is federal law enforcement, okay? This is a federal law enforcement training academy. Go ahead.
So my thought process is this. If those recruits would think to do that to me, and we're on the same team, what are they going to do to you if they get out on the streets and they encounter you in your community, in your neighborhood? And that was one of the biggest things. That one right there, man. And I really want to give credit to the facility and the higher ups there for really taking charge of that situation and making sure something was done. And that was the great thing about it. They came in and personally told me that something was going to happen, and it did. So I can hang my hat on that, saying that I went and reported it and something was done. But at the same time, we got people like that sneaking through the cracks.
They are infiltrating the police departments, the sheriff's departments, federal agencies, and that has to stop.
It has to stop.
See, because at the end of the day, we can't control nobody's heart.
Right.
We can't control who somebody is. We can't control what you believe. But if you have racial issues, you don't need a gun and a badge. That is not the occupation for you, because that's why we're in the situation that we're in right now with this Black Lives Movement, because these departments and agencies have been infiltrated with people that have strong beliefs of not respecting black people, not liking black people, and in some cases hating black people. So, that I remember that I almost forgot until my brother began to tell that story, because we're talking, you all, a federal agency, and we're not going to name the name,
right.
But I remember it so clear. But that's got to stop as well. And my mission is to change some things, And you all know what my motto is: change starts within. Okay? Change starts within. So you can say within yourself, you can say within the department, you can say within the state, you can say within the United States, okay? But change starts within. So, anything else you want to add?
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what you were just saying about the agencies have to make it a number one priority to weed that stuff out.
Okay, I agree.
If they do not, we're going to continue to have the same discussions for the next 25, 30 years. We've already been having them for hundreds of years.
Right.
But we're going to keep having these same conversations, and agencies got to make up in their mind, we got to sit down at the table. We got to have people sitting at the table that don't all look like us. We got to have diversity, African American, Hispanic, whatever the case may be, Asian officers. We need to have everybody at the table. We need to get together and find out how can we shift this hiring process, right? There's certain questions that need to be asked when we're doing these background checks,
right.
When we're doing the polygraph test, when we're doing the psychological. There are questions that aren't being asked that need to be asked. And if you ask the right question, you'll get the right response. And then you can start nipping this stuff in the bud. But if the head is okay with the way things are, the thing's going to keep being the same way.
I agree. I hope that this has shedded some light, have given you all a little bit more of an input of, our perspective, what we have experienced, and you all have experienced as well, maybe in a different scenario, different situation. Okay, stay tuned. We have many more videos to come. We are here to help. Okay, we are here. There is a big gap. Okay, we're here to remove the gap, not close it, totally remove that gap. Okay, so stay tuned. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. Welcome back, y'all. Today we're going to be doing patrol stops scenarios, do's and the don'ts. Okay, pay very close attention to what my brother does as the officer, what I do as a civilian. Okay, watch everything, the details. This is going to be very informative for you all. Okay, this first scenario, it's going to be a traffic stop, officer being professional, doing what he's supposed to do, me as the civilian doing what I'm supposed to do. Okay, stay tuned.
doing today, ma'am?
I'm doing good, and you?
Officer Jackson with Sigma Police Department.
Yes, sir.
I pull you over for speeding. I need your driver license and your insurance, please.
I didn't realize I was speeding, but
Yes, ma'am.
I have my license right here. Is it okay if I get it?
Yes, go ahead. Yes, ma'am. Okay. And your insurance for me, please. All right. Just sit tight for me. I'll be right back with you, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Go. Okay, so that scenario was the professional good cop, okay? Just a traffic stop of speeding, okay? Officer Jackson's gonna tell you what he did and why he did it as an officer, and then I will as a civilian.
All right, so, upon approaching the vehicle, safety is always number one. So I take my time approaching the vehicle, making sure I look in, making sure I can see the driver or if there's any passengers. And when I'm approaching the vehicle, making sure I can look in and see if there's anything in there, any threats, weapons, or anything that needs my attention outside of what I stopped the citizen for. And then I make sure when I'm approaching the window, I don't put my body all the way in front of the window. I want to make sure I can see hands, I can see what's going on, and then I can proceed from there.
Okay, and as what you all want to do, as all of us, what we want to do, if you notice, my hands were on that steering wheel, okay? I didn't reach for anything until I asked him, sir, my license is here. Is it okay? He gave me the okay. I gave him the license. I put my hands back up there. The same thing with the insurance, okay? Importance. Don't reach for anything until that officer is either present or he instructs you to do so, okay? Stay tuned for more videos.
Ma'am.
Yes.
Officer Jackson with Sigma Police Department. I need your driver license and your shirt. Wait, ma'am, can you stop reaching for me? Can you stop moving around?
You asked for the driver's license?
Yeah, I know, but just put your hands on the steering wheel.
Okay.
Relax, it's okay. All right, so I'm gonna start again. I'm Officer Jackson with Sigma. Ma'am.
Oh, my license stay in the glove box.
I understand. Listen
Okay.
to me.
Yes, sir.
It's okay. Calm down.
I'm
It's
just
okay.
nervous.
I know.
I'm
It
sorry.
may be your first time being pulled over. It's okay. We're gonna work through it together. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay.
All right. So I'm Officer Jackson with Sigma Police Department. The reason I stopped you was for speeding. What I need is your driver license and your insurance. So just tell me where your driver license insurance are, and we can go from there. Okay.
I think they're in the glove box there.
Okay. All right. Do you have any weapons or anything like that I need to know about in the vehicle? Okay. Go ahead and
I'm
reach.
scared of guns.
Okay. Go ahead and reach for your ID and your insurance.
Oh man, I think they.
Wait. Where is it? Where you reaching at?
I think they're in here.
Okay.
Oh, wait, here it is.
Okay. Do you have your insurance too?
Yes.
All right. Just relax. We'll be right with you. Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right, as you can see, that is a do not. Now, if you notice, I didn't keep my hands on the steering wheel initially. I was very reachy, okay? Which then, if you notice, even though he was a professional officer, it kind of got him a little, it kind of raised him up a little bit, okay? Ma'am, don't move. So his awareness goes up. So as you can tell, you want to keep your hands where that officer can see them, because for the officer, that's his safety. I don't see your hands. I don't know what you're reaching. Okay, so that's a don't do all that moving. Okay, just wait and do what the officer tells you to do when he asks you to do it. Okay, so very important. Keep your hands. Don't reach until you're told to reach. Okay.